Hello, good afternoon. My name is Toya. I'm here with Sonya.
Yeah.
Today is November the 9th. The time is now 5:40. Sonya, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
My name's Sonya Downs. I was born and bred here. Born in London, Paddington, St Mary's. My parents came over in the 60s, the early 60s. Well, my father first, then my mum. My dad came over on the boat and my mum came over on the plane. He sent for her. So, because my dad came over to work, I think, with helping repatriate the UK. But what he first started to do, the job that he went for was a police officer. Passed the test and everything. So what the policeman done, scratched out his name, rubbed it out and passed it on to the man next to him. So gave my dad's form, took the man's form and gave to my dad, and my dad's form to the man. Because the man failed, my dad passed on everything. So, and then he just went on to doing the trains from there. So he was going to be a police officer, but that just turned him from doing anything to do with the police.
Was it a case where the gentleman was white, he was black?
Yeah, that was the case. So he just said it didn't make sense. I said, when he told me the stories, I got older, so now, that's not right. Why didn't you take it further? He goes, who's going to listen? It doesn't make sense complaining.
Yeah, because what proof have you got?
Exactly. So
And
he just,
there were minorities then, so it wouldn't make any difference.
exactly. So as growing up older, as you get older, as you go along, you're learning and you're seeing, even though like you're the first like generation, you're breaking the ties of the black and whites. We're mixing together, whereas before it wasn't really like that. It would be no blacks, no Irish. So like the Irish and the blacks would stick together, but the rest they were high society.
And when your mum came over?
When my mum came over, she was working as a waiter, and she wasn't there long for the same reason, blacks and whites. So the lady threw a drink on her in the shop, in the restaurant, and it was a big scuffle, and she left.
So they threw the drink at your mum and your mum threw it back?
Yeah, she wasn't having it, so, and it's a big fight in the restaurant, so then she went and left. So then she went on to working at McVitie's, I think it was. She'd done several jobs while she was here. So, and then she'd done hairdressing from home as well. So those were her main things.
I know sometimes people come over from the Caribbean and they come here. Sometimes they came over to meet families or friends, or if it's a case where they were recruited back then, they were given accommodation. Did your dad get any accommodation, or he had to?
No, I think he stayed with family, and it's like as you get, like you're there for a short period of times, because I remember it was like from pillar to post. Like might be at my aunt's, then we'd be moved from there, we're somewhere else, so we weren't really stabled for long. And then when we was stabled, we were like I grew up in the Kensal Rise area. So I remember as a baby, it was like Burns Road, St Margaret's Road, Purvis Road, Ashburnham Road. So it was like from pillar to post, and then Harvest Road, and then from there to Kilburn. So I think this is why for me, myself now, I don't like moving. I'm just stabled where I am now.
Okay, so it's like you're living in Purfleet and then you decide to stay in Purfleet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you toured all of Essex. So you live in Purfleet,
Yeah.
and then you decide to move from Purfleet and settle in Tilbury.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decided that, you know what, I'm not going to move. I'm just going to stay in Tilbury. This is where I'm based. So this is where I'm going to stay until, God forbid.
Yeah.
Okay. Growing up with both parents from Jamaica,
No, they're from Barbados.
Barbados, sorry, Barbados. I know that people from the Caribbean, they instill education because most of the people back then, they weren't really privileged for certain education.
Yeah.
They might go to, say, primary school and that's it for them. They haven't furthered anymore because of the family situation.
Yeah.
Most if you're a boy, you have to go out to work to subsidize the family if the mom or dad can't really get enough income to subsidize the family. If it's a girl, sometimes they might marry you off to someone just to kind of subsidize the family. Now, growing up here in the UK, how did they encourage you to make education your first priority?
So my parents were very strict, especially my mum. So I had to, no ifs, buts or maybes, I had to stay in and do my homework. My dad was excellent at maths, so he would help me with the maths and everything and have to read every single day. If I want to go outside with my friends,
work first.
I've got to do my work first. I've got to do my reading, my homework first. And then I can go outside. If not, I'm going to get beaten if I do the opposite and just go with my friends. So I have to do what my mum told me to do. Not so much my dad's, but my mum.
Your dad was a little bit lenient.
Yeah, my dad, I would get away with murder with my dad, but not my mum. He would just say, just make sure everything's done before she gets in. So when I see my mum, I'll stand on the wall outside. When I see her bussing the corner, run inside, get the books and pretend that I've been working, and that's it.
But she could tell when you're not really doing anything. Parents are like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sometimes she might let it slide a bit because she said that you've been doing this all week. So on a Friday she will let it slide because come to Saturday you're gonna have to be doing the house chores and all of that and still study. You won't have the time to be with your friends. So
back then it was okay because it was, I think because it was just myself at the time before my sister came over, and like we had neighbours that I would just walk into their house because you could just go in. So I would just shout and say, I'm here, and they're like, oh gosh, you're here? So be in my neighbour's house, and then I said, I've gone again, gone outside, mixed with my friends, and then go home. Or you just wait until a certain time when you see the street lights come on, and then you go
that's
in.
like back in the Caribbean, you'll be out playing, and once the street light comes on, you know it's time to go
home. So, and that's what we did.
And that's what it's lacking nowadays, where it takes they have a saying, it takes a village
to raise a kid,
to raise a child. But that's what's lacking nowadays. And also people from the Caribbean, some of them don't really have that morals that they did back then.
Back then, everything's changed.
They adapt, because when you're from one country and come over to another, certain things you adapt and certain things you just let go of.
Yeah.
So although you were born here and you grew up here, you had that community of being in Jamaica, Barbados, because you might have gone back home with your family for holiday and you still had that interaction with neighbours.
Neighbours, whether you know them or not, morning, good evening, good night, whether you know them or not, that's what you say.
So you still had that interaction with them as if you were still here in the UK, but just the climates were different.
Definitely.
So you went to school, and did you really have to focus more because I know sometimes they focus either you have to be a nurse or a teacher, or there must be something that they
My mum
instilled in you.
wanted me to be a nurse. I wasn't interested in being a nurse because her sister was her nurse. She wanted me also to be a nurse. So when my aunt used to come down for me, because she used to live in Yorkshire, I'll go and stay with her for a weekend or like a week, because I wasn't really at school at the time. So she would buy me this little nursing outfit, you know, them little kiddies nurse. So when she takes me into the hospital and thing, I've got this little nurse outfit on pretending to be a nurse, but it was just never me. I just wasn't interested. So I said to my mum, when I get older, I don't want to be a nurse.
And how did she take that?
She said, so what are you going to... I said, just don't want to do nursing. Definitely not. It's not me. Which my sister ended up being a nurse, but it wasn't for me.
So what did you end up doing?
I ended up doing acting in the long run. So that's what I ended up doing. But I was studying to do being an air hostess or working in a travel agency. And then I changed and ended up doing drama, performing arts.
So it's like you see one thing, you're passionate about it, and then you saw something else and you're like, oh, I think I'm good at that.
Yeah.
So how did she take it when you went into acting?
Well, when I was younger, she used to take me to do modelling up, I think it was New Bond Street somewhere, where 1 week it's modelling, you're learning to do the catwalk, and then the following week it's doing TV commercials, practicing for TV commercials, which I quite enjoyed. So I said, I think I prefer to do that. And then I was still young at the time. So then so years later, I think she met somebody that was doing the bill when it just started out. So she said, give this number a call because they're looking for people to do it. And I'm like, no, I can't be asked. And then a couple of years later or so I did and ended up being like background artist for like on the bill.
Okay.
And then take it from there.
And it's something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Meet some nice people. That's how I met Donna along the way and some others. So we're still in touch, some of us. It's good.
So as a second generation here in the UK, and your kids are the third generation.
Yeah.
What's the difference between you growing up here than your kids?
I personally, growing up here was fine for me, even though I did used to get a bit in trouble at school because I was more like the one to speak out. First year in my, at the time, well, they say first year, second year over here, where it's now like year 7 or whatever. So being in year 7, as they will call it now, I think the third day in year 7 just starting and the teacher's getting to know you. And he said, oh, we're going to be learning about Ari, the royals or whatever. So I put my hands up and he said, stand up as you do. Said my name, because he asked me my name. I said, sir, I'm not being funny, but I don't want to learn about the monarchy because we've learnt about it from growing up from primary school until now. I would like to learn, me personally, I don't know about the rest of the class, but I would like to learn Black history. The man shouted at me, told me to come out and inciting a riot. And I got suspended for that. And it's only just the other day one of the teachers apologised and said the reason why is because they weren't... I was a person that I would speak up and say what I've got to say. But at the time, most teachers at the time, they were good at what they taught, or they may have passed their exams in what they taught, but they weren't actual teachers. They didn't go to university to study, say whether it be French, English, whatever. It's because they most probably already speak those languages why they were able to teach children. But they weren't qualified teachers. So me saying what I'm saying to my teacher, my form teacher, I would like to learn Black history, like how they do in America. Why can't we do it here? He just said to come out. I got excluded from school for that.
Do you think it was because I know sometimes people only understand what they know. So growing up, you know about the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only answer questions about the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
That was their comfort zone. So you asking him that question, you're taking him out of his comfort zone. So he didn't know how to answer that question. So that's why he sent you out of class.
Yeah.
Because you're asking a question that
Couldn't
he
be answered.
doesn't know the answer to. And as a teacher, you're expected for when your students ask you a question, you have to know the answer. But you're embarrassing him because he had no answer for that question. So did you think that he should have done things differently then? He should have said to you, take that in consideration, we'll come to that next time.
It would have been better if he did do that rather than shouting and say get out the class and go down to the headmasters or the year of the head at the time. It would have been better. As I said to one of the teachers that we met up with recently, I said, just imagine, I said, well, he goes, because you're ahead of your thinking, they're not prepared for that.
So when you went to the head teacher or the head of year, what did they say to you?
They said, oh, why was I trying to do incite a riot in the classroom? I said, I wasn't inciting a riot. I just said, I don't want to learn about the monarchy. I would like to learn black history. What's wrong with that? Oh, well, you can't be asking that. I said, but why not? You just can't be.
So they didn't give you a logical explanation?
No explanation.
Like, no, and
that's it. Cut off. So you can't go beyond and ask anything more on that.
So, apart from that class that you went to and you wanted to start right, how did the other teachers approach you? Because sometimes teachers do communicate with each other.
Oh, definitely.
And if you're disruptive in one class, they probably think that you're going to be the same
throughout.
How did that affect you going forward?
Going forward, I was okay. It's only some teachers you can look or you can feel that vibe from them. So there was one particular teacher, I had given her, we were going to France, and I remember paying my money before everybody else, like a £10 at the time, for a day trip to France. And I'm like this in the class with the money, I've got my £10 here. So next thing, a couple of days later, because she didn't give me the receipt there and then. So when I went to ask her, she said I never gave her no money. I said, but I gave it to you in front of the whole class. So then I got so mad I pushed her and wanting to fight her because she said I never gave her no money. I was fuming.
So what happened? I
didn't get to go France in the long run because she said I never gave her no money.
But no one in the class stand up?
No, she didn't want me to go into the class to ask anybody.
And so none of the other teachers asked any questions?
Only one teacher came out and she was on this teacher's side, not knowing the full story.
So what did your parents do?
My mum was just fed up because every minute she said she keep having to go to the school, so she just gave up because every minute they're like, I'm suspended, they take me back, suspended, take me back. And it's like I came like a problem child.
And what did your dad do?
My dad was just humble, very humble. Just
so they just let the £10 go like that?
Yeah, because he just said, what's the sense? Because you're not going to get it back. If she's lying now, you're not going to get it back. So that's how my dad was looking at it. My mum was just cussing as always and saying, but we worked so hard for that bit of money, which is true. But I did give it to her. The class saw. My friend that saw when I gave her the money, she even asked, goes, yeah, she did give it to her, Mrs. Down. She did. We were all in the class watching. But that was it.
Then being a mom now, if your daughter came home to you and said, Mom, I gave the teacher the money and she refused and she said I didn't, what would you do?
I think I'd have gone up to the school and cuss. I would, definitely. But my mum was a person, she would most probably want to hit me first and then ask questions after in the presence of the teacher. Whereas I find myself doing that with my daughter when she went to school. But I find that with her, the teachers didn't deal with her correctly because she's got like ADHD and everything. They didn't really deal with her properly. They were just picking on her rather than helping her. And then they get to find out that she did need extra help.
That's what I was about to say to you. When sometimes we do things differently without knowing the situation, and they might look at it as she's difficult to deal with, but then there is a problem. And kids who has special needs are just getting noticed, because a lot of them think that they are mischievous or they don't want to learn, they're disruptive, but it's not in a case where they are that. It's just that they've got special needs, and it was quite difficult then to deal with someone.
Because as you're saying that, back in my time when we went to school, they'll have a table with like the ski yogurts, if I remember rightly, and it's got pencils in the middle of the table. So you've got the good table, the bad table, and
The difference.
Yeah. So I was like on the bad kind of table. They had it like, you see, bold bad. And we're like, why are we on the bad table? But what it was, we weren't diagnosed at the time, because they would say like you're duncy or whatever. But most of the kids now, but all got to find out they're dyslexia.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't named. It didn't have no name at the time.
It's quite difficult back then.
Yeah, because
they might think you're slow. People with learning difficulty, they learn things differently. Some people might be a visual learner, where you see the thing, you grasp it more. Some people will be an audio learner.
Yeah.
Where you can listen to it and you understand it better than seeing stuff.
It.
Some people are both. Like myself, I'm both. If you want me to just show me something, then I'll get
I'll grasp it quicker. Yeah, because back then, like if I had to write something, say like it's for you, instead of writing 4-0 whatever R, I might just do the number 4 and the letter U. So it's like for you, it's still the same thing.
So and a lot instead of writing out the word for you just, but which nowadays, everything is shortened.
Exactly.
So back then it might be a problem, but nowadays everything is shortened.
And a lot of us on that particular table, that's how most of us write. And if we were speaking, that's how we would talk amongst one another. But now it's an everyday thing.
So it's not the case where you were a problem child back then. It's just that you had a little bit of learning difficulty. And they didn't understand it then, so they saw you as a challenge.
Yeah. But even being a challenge, it was like, how can I say, we didn't really have the, what do they call them, the omnibus people?
Special,
that used to come, inspectors, Ofsted. We didn't have that. And if we did have somebody that was coming to inspect, I'm not to come in on that day. So
they did have inspectors, but they weren't known as Ofsted at the time.
That's right.
They were called education inspectors. So basically they'll come in to see how the school is progressing. But kids who are a problem per se, or kids that nowadays with special needs, they wouldn't want them to come in.
No.
Because they would bring the school down.
Exactly.
Just like in Ofsted. I give an example. I remember when my kids used to go to school, and the Ofsted were coming to investigate the school. You walk past the gate and teachers who normally wouldn't say a word to you would start greeting you, good morning, good afternoon. And me as a parent, if they say good morning to me, I ask, why you say morning to me now? You never do. So I kind of get what you're saying, because they want to get a good grades for your school, you want to cover up certain things. So you being a child with special needs that they didn't understand then, they wouldn't want you to come in. Because they thought that you would
say something out of the norm.
Exactly. And being the type of person you were, when you were challenging, you asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they don't get that. That's the way people learn. You ask questions and to get the answers that you need. And most kids, they're in a stage where they keep asking why. You give them one answer, they don't feel satisfied with that. They're gonna keep asking why, and they didn't want that from you. So going to primary school, you had that difficulty. What happened when you went to secondary school?
Well, the secondary school, that's what I'm saying. When I asked the teacher I wanted to learn Black history, that was in the secondary school.
So going forward,
Going forward from there, I wasn't there for long, because half the time I didn't really go into school. I just ended up with my friends on the road.
Bunking school?
Yeah, as you do.
And we're allowed to do that. I never bunked school. I hear people saying they bunk school. I always ask, even now as an adult, and I hear people say they're bunking school. I was like, how do you do that? I was like, you've never bunked school? No, I've never bunked school.
Oh, you're a good one. Very good.
No, the reason why I couldn't bunk school because my sister used to do spot checks.
Ah.
So you'll be at home and she can tell you what you did to the whole day. What you did when you come out of school, get on the bus, everything you did. And you're like, oh, where were you? So we didn't get that. We had to go to school. A lot of kids bunk school, but growing up, they give you a bit of leniency, but with a condition. So you go to school, you come home, as you said, you could have fun. Your dad was lenient with you, you could do whatever, but when your mom comes home, that was a total different. We were allowed to go out to play, but you were only allowed at certain times. And because we were a community, we had a big playing field opposite us. Everyone there would go out to play, and they know that at certain time, homework were done. And sometimes we do it as a group. Because we would all go to the same school, we walk together to school as a group. We come home. You might be doing in different classes at different stages, but because we know some parents, they come home quite late from work. So my home was where everyone comes to do homework.
Okay.
You go out to play, you come home, you're fed, you do your homework. When your parents come home, they will just shout, like what you said, you just go to a family member, I'm here. That's it. And then they go home.
My school, I'm living here. My school be just downstairs, and I'm late every single day. It's so near, not even 5 minutes, but I'm late. So they would say, how far do you have to come from? I said, well, my lift broke down on the way to school. So they're thinking it's actually a car, but I'm not making them none the wiser. And I'm like, oh, until they realise I'm just coming from across the road. So they said, but you're for coming across the road. That's just across the road, your flats. I said, yeah, but I told you the lift broke down. Didn't you hear the fire brigade? I was waiting for the fire brigade because I'm inside the lift, it broke down. So they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you, Sonya. But every single day I'm practically late, unless I'm going to meet my friends at the gates, then we'll all walk on and go in together. And that's basically it, really, with my parents and myself.
So, going back to having kids, you said you've got all daughters. And you've got one with ADHD. And the other twos
They're fine.
They're fine. I know that having a child with ADHD can be challenging at times, but when you get the diagnosis and you kind of understand the need that daughter need, that's when things kind of be a little bit easier for you. How how did it affect the other two? Because sometimes having another child with special needs, it kind of have a different impact on the other kids because you might be focusing more on the one with the special needs and kind of take away your time for the other two.
Well, they're kind of, there's like a 16-year gap from the last one with her, the middle one. So she was premature. She was 3 months early. She was meant to come in February. She came in November, which is her birthday tomorrow, funny enough. But when I had her, they did say that I might have problems with her when she gets development, because her brain might be slightly slower than the other kids, which it is up to today.
Okay.
So, but she tries to do her best, because sometimes she goes, "Oh, why did you say that, Mum? Why?" But she's diagnosed with ADHD. From at her nursery, they said, "Oh, we've picked up a few things that she's going to need help with when she goes to preschool." And when she did get the help at preschool, she never got it until she was leaving to go to secondary school. So all the help that she needed going through school, she didn't really get. And even when she went on to high school, she still didn't really get the help as much as she should. So when she went on to college, she weren't getting that, because now they're saying they couldn't find her on the system. So it was like a catch-22.
Yeah, it's a case where, because my youngest, he had teaching assistants in primary school. And then when he went to secondary, I had to let them know that yes, he did have that, and he got that in secondary school. Now he's in college. The year for college, the school that he went to, I had to instill to them that yes, you need it. So it's a case where there's I forgot the name of it. You have to apply for it.
Yeah.
And it's like an EPL. So you have to ensure that they get that is in place for them to get the help that need, and that goes up until they can go to school free up till they're 25.
25, that's right.
But you have to have that in place.
They lost her on the system for some reason. They lost her on the system. It's just
So old is your daughter now?
24 tomorrow.
So, and she still goes to school?
She's just hopped out. She was going uni and she just said, oh, she's not getting the help that she requires, so she just gave up. So, and then when you're phoning up the borough to find out what's going on, oh, well, we don't know nothing. Are you sure? But you was helping her before, so why can't you find it now?
That's the thing, because normally when you leave school, you always get a phone call or a text message from someone from
I never got that.
council that asks you if they're in full-time medication or what, and they're the ones who are in charge of making sure that they get the assistance that they need.
We never got that at all. Nothing like that whatsoever. And then the person that was mainly with her throughout can't find her. They said they've never heard of this person or anything. They used to take her to the school meetings. They came with professors, everything. We had several people where we sat in on meetings with her headmistress and the year of heads. And the main woman, no one doesn't know her all of a sudden.
So that, coming back to when you were going to school, and so do you feel that if they were offering you, per se, the help that is offering to kids now, would you still go into acting?
Yeah, I think I would have. because I don't think I would have done anything else, because I do enjoy doing the acting. I wouldn't have gone in, because I was good at drama at school. I
Okay.
did get A-levels in drama
The
at
reason
school.
why I asked that question, the bit of clarity, the reason why I asked that question was because you said your mom wanted you to be a nurse, although you didn't like it. Probably because you had the ADHD and you weren't really focused that much. So you kind of switched to something that was a little bit safe. Although acting is not that safe, because you have to put more work in
Oh, definitely.
being an actor than what you would put into being a nurse. Because once you study and you've got your qualification in being a nurse, only once in a while you have to do a test just to update yourself, to keep your pin, so that they know that you're still confident in your work. Whereas in acting, you every day
you got to
you
learn.
have to prove yourself.
Yeah, definitely. You got to either learn the character, how the character's gonna move, talk, walk, and things like that. Learning your speeches and everything, your lines, and I might go over it with, say, I call, say, you, and like with interacting over the phone to know when to come in, when not to come in, and on your lines and things like that. So it is a bit challenging. So when my daughter might say something to me, I'm listening. She goes, Mum, you're not listening to me. You're not. I said, I don't need to look at you. I can hear you.
Because we were told that you have to do the eye-to-eye connection. That's the way to prove that you are communicating with the person.
Right.
And you are listening to what the person says. But that don't necessarily mean the same, because I can be looking at you and my mind is somewhere else. Because I can switch off.
I
So you can be having a conversation with me and I don't want to hear what you're saying. I'm not bothered, so I'll switch off and you just keep talking, and all you will hear is someone's like, yeah, but that don't necessarily mean that they're
I
listening
say to her, not because that I'm not looking at you, that I don't hear. I can tell you every word you've said, from when you've come through the door, up the stairs, gone into the room, come back to the kitchen.
So does that come down to being an actor, because you have to be aware of your surrounding, and because if you're doing a scene and someone is behind the door, and you have to know when to say something, because they might be behind the door talking and they said the sound is a bit muffled, so you have to know when to come in with your lines. So did you say that helped you with dealing with everyday things?
I think it did, because like her dad used to say to me, they would be talking in the kitchen, or I might be in the front room. He might do something in the kitchen, but I'm in the front room. I might say, just put it back. I've just heard you pick up my brandy, or you've opened up the bottle of brandy. He goes, bloody hell. Her hearing's like Norse. It's just so acute. She can hear everything. I said, yeah, because you're here, I can hear everything you're saying. And he goes, but I'm talking soft. I said, it doesn't matter, I can still hear you. So he'll come up and say to her, you see what I'm saying? I'm all the way down there, out of her way, and she can still hear everything I'm doing, what I'm touching, what I'm not touching. Because I think your acting or whatever has gone to your head somewhere, because you know everything, where it goes, where. Do you do picture perfect? I said, no, I don't do that. I said, those who do the picture perfect, they'll take the pictures, make sure everything's the same place. I don't need to do that.
I know some people with ADHD, they learn things differently, as I said previously before. And with you, would you say your ADHD is where you're in tune with your surroundings and you're more focusing on the environment that you're in per se? Like you said, you're in your house, you could tell, and you might be in the front room, you can tell everything what's going on in the kitchen. not necessarily that you're looking, but you have that area where it helps you to.
I think it helps me to a degree where if I'm at home in my own comfort zone,
Yeah.
I'm very like
Attune.
Yeah, attuned with everything around. More time I just like to be on my own by myself.
So you can switch up.
Yeah. Because like you say, you could be talking to me, as much as I'm talking to you and interacting, my mind's gone elsewhere to something else. So when I'm at home and my daughter comes in, I'll be in tuned and then I'm not in tuned. Because I know she's just going to go on about something I don't want to hear. So I'm just like, I'm really sorry, I don't want to hear this right now. So you're so selfish, just selfish. I said, it's not being selfish, Ria. I don't need to hear what you're going to tell me. I know what it is. So when I say it back to her, she's like, how do you know I'm going to talk about that? 'Cause I said, it's just how you're approaching me. So I already know.
As a mom, you can tell what they're doing. That's sometimes they don't get that bit. You know what your kids are like, and you know when they're on a tantrum.
Yeah.
And it's always mostly the same thing, and they keep repeating it over and over. It's like asking a question and you ask it 3 different ways, but it's the same question.
It's like I made her put her cat out the other day about 2 weeks ago, and she was so upset, but I got peed off because it started to pee on the stairs. So I had to take the carpet up, scrub down the stairs because it started to leave the stairs. I said, if it does it one more time, he's got to go. So said, so done. So she had to take it outside and put it wherever she did. Only came back yesterday after 2 weeks. I was so upset.
Male cat or female?
Male.
Oh, he went out and had it.
I was so upset. Didn't want him in the house.
No, you probably peed on the carpet so you could put him out to go have some fun.
He doesn't like, he's a house cat. He doesn't like outside at all.
Well, you
So
can never tell.
So hopefully
But he spent 2 weeks out, so for a house cat.
Somebody had him. It looks like someone had him and most probably had enough of him. Most probably peeing in their house and put him out because he looked fresh. And I'm like, when she said, "Mum, come look who's here." I'm like, I don't want to see whoever's in the house. I don't want to see. She goes, just open the door and look. When I look, I saw the cat. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, no. So I said, do you think it worked then, Ria? Because I said to her, there's a tell where, because she really missed him because that was like a comfort zone. So I said, they say if you see a stray cat outside, you whisper to the cat, if you see my cat Ginger or Blackie or whatever, tell him to come home. So she goes, oh, that's rubbish. So she checked it on the internet and she said, oh, it's true. So she went and spoke to a cat.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and Tutu's is back home. But apparently it's supposed to work. But it did, unfortunately.
Okay, as an actress, and you did the bill, did you do anything else on BBC?
I've worked on the Da Vinci Code. I've worked on is it Clergy Killers or Killer Clergy? I've done so much things over the years I can't even remember, to be quite honest, but it's a list of stuff that I have done because I've been doing it from around about 23 years.
And you started, as you said, quite young. For young people coming up nowadays, I ask everyone this question. What advice and what guidance would you offer to them if they want to pursue a career like this?
Well, they have to know that's what they want to do, and it's much harder now because a lot of people thought, because they saw it as extras with, I've forgotten his name. that used to do the show Extras on TV.
Danny DeVille.
Yeah. People thought, oh, it's going to be cozy, cushy or whatever. When they actually come and do, oh, I'm not ready though, this ain't for me. And they've gone because they didn't realise how much sitting around being an SA is and what it's entailed. So if you want to sit around and do that, or if you want to go into the main side to be a main actor, just put in your work, just do your homework and just take it from there, and just know who you're going to have as your agent or things like that, just to find the right agent and make sure you know what clause you're signing, what you don't want to do, what you want to do, and so forth.
That's what I was about to ask you, because I know sometimes you're an extra and there's certain scenes that the actors are doing that they need extras to play along with it. If they're doing like a quite provocative scene.
The nudities and things like
yeah,
that.
And you might be like in a bathhouse where they still got the extras there, and they might. Has there come a point in your career where they offered you to do that bit and you're like, nah, I don't want to do that?
And I've already signed to say I don't want it, don't want to do it. I don't care how much it is, I'm just not doing it. Don't want to do that part. I don't want to be seen as someone who's done like a provocative scene or whatever, and then after that, that's it. No, not for me.
Because I know sometimes you might have an agent and the agent be like, yeah, you've got to do this. If you don't do that, you dropped it. Because as the reason why I say that, I used to do modeling back home, and I don't do swim. I would do swimwear, but I don't do two-piece because it's just the way I was brought up. I don't wear the provocative stuff. I don't wear those short up shorts. No. If I'm gonna wear shorts like that, it's inside my house.
Yeah.
Not outdoors. And they wanted us to do a scene where they do underwears, and I'm like, no. I'm not doing that. And they're like, yeah, well, if you don't do it, we'll drop you. And I was like, pay me out my contract, because I'm signed with you for X amount of time.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna drop me, that's fine, but you need to pay me out. Has that ever happened to you before?
No, I haven't, because I've already signed that I wouldn't do no kind of nudity or like kissing to like in-depth kissing. Maybe a kiss on the cheek or a quick kiss on the lip, that's about it, but
no tongues.
No tongues, definitely not, nah.
Okay. Although sometimes you might sign that, but they probably would try to.
Yeah. Nah.
So for you, no is no.
Yeah, definitely. Nah.
So for someone who wants to pursue a career in that way, and I know it's nowadays it's quite difficult to get in. One and two, they trying to push for you to basically be selling your soul.
Oh, well, I wouldn't sell my soul.
How would you tell them to navigate things like that? Because they will say, okay, yes, but you signed it, so you have to do it. Because sometimes they put it in fine print. And they get you to sign it without realizing what you signed.
Yeah.
How would you give them advice to navigate stuff like that?
Well, for me, personally, I thank God, touch wood, I haven't been down that road, but not to sell yourself in that way to say that you want this job desperately. No, because there's going to be others that's going to come along that you might get, and you might like, oh, I like this script or whatever. I don't have to do all what this script is saying. I'm going to stick with this script here. So check what you've got to do first, and then you can see where you're going to go. But don't just take the first thing that comes on offer, because it might not be what you want to do. And if it is what you want to do, so be it. But if it means that you have to sell your soul to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Have you had a case where you going to do a shoot, they might show you a script, and then they change the script, but they haven't let you know that they've changed the script, and you signed a contract to do that script.
Yeah.
And then they went ahead and changed it, and they're saying, okay, because you've already signed a contract and the script has been changed, you're still legally binding to do the new script.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a case where that's happened?
No.
And if it ever happened to you, how would you approach it?
If that ever happened to me, I don't know how I would actually approach it. I think I would have to phone them up directly and said, what's going on here? Because this isn't what was
Initially
the script that
offered.
I've got. Say like they've given me the old script and now they've got a new one. Totally different. So they most probably say, well, either you do it or you don't. But it depends on what I've got to do now in this script. Would I go ahead with it or not? So, I don't know.
It's a case where you stick to the previous contract that you've signed, regardless of the fact if they've made any adjustment. The adjustment is not down to you, it's down to them. And they can't hold you liable for it. So is it a case where you would say to them, okay, fine, you need to make sure that you keep a copy of your contract and a copy of your scripts that you get, so if any changes are made, you're not held liable for it?
Yeah, it would be better to do it that way. At least you know you've got a copy and they've also got a copy. So if any changes now, it's down to them, not you.
Okay, Sonya, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out to let us know a little bit about yourself, and I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.